How's it everyone? Today in this retro review, of course, I'll be reviewing the WWF Survivor Series 2001. Today is actually the 15-year anniversary of Survivor Series 2001, so happy 15-year anniversary to Survivor Series 2001. And I watched a show on the network last night. I don't have the DVD of it, unfortunately, so I watched it on the network. And overall, I gotta say, it's actually a very fun show. Of course, the only really huge thing to check out on the show, of course, is the main event between the WWF and the Alliance. But everything on the show is still good. I thought, the undercard was pretty good still, and what I would consider bad on the show isn't all that bad still. But yeah, it's a very fun show to sit through. It's about 2.5 hours long, so it's not that long of a show by any means. And I had fun with it, so definitely enjoyed it. But one complaint, well, it's not really a complaint, but it's kind of like I felt like they dragged on way too long. They had several backstage segments during the show, pretty much, lead up to the main event. But I want to say in total of backstage segments, you probably had at least 10 to 20 minutes worth of the show dedicated to backstage stuff. Like I said, none of it's bad, and it's leading to the main event. I just feel like some of the segments dragged on way longer than it should have. Like the first one you had with Vince and Linda, I feel like that dragged on forever. But it's just a little, not really necessarily a complaint, but kind of just like, alright, kind of overkill if you ask me. But again, totally understandable why that happened. But yeah, going on the show opened up with the European Championship match, Christian versus Al Snow. This is a good opener, but it's short. It's only about 5-6 minutes, but I thought what they did in that time span was good. Christian is very dominant very early on the match, and Al Snow is trying to lock in Christian's arms to do the headbutts, of course, for the first half of the match because Christian kept avoiding it, and then Al Snow eventually finally hit it. And then there's some nice near falls, Christian hitting inverted DDT for a nice near fall. Al Snow hitting the snow plow, and then Christian rolled out of the ring, so people thought Al Snow was going to win there. So it was a fun opener, good back and forth action. After Christian was very dominant early on, Al Snow had his comeback. It was very back and forth, and transferred into a solid opener. And of course, Christian got the win with the Unprettier, so Christian retains the European Championship. Like I said, good opener, just a tad short. From there, I'm going to go to William Regal versus Taijiri. This was really, really short. This was literally like 2 minutes long. But in those 2 minutes, I thought they did some, pretty good work. Taijiri actually busted Regal open with a buzzsaw kick, like really early on the match, like right in the match started, hit him with it, and Regal's nose was busted open. Some stiff shots from Regal after that to pretty much give him his receipt. So I felt in the 2 minutes they had, it was an adult moment. They tried to fit as much as they possibly could in. Taijiri actually did the spot where he had his head stuck between the ropes. It's actually pretty painful. And William Regal used that to advantage to choke him. So that was a nice spot. But in the end, William Regal wins with the Regal bomb after, Taijiri was kind of distraught from the ropes. And then, yeah, Regal wins, and then he gives, after the match, he gives Taijiri one more Regal bomb, and then Tori Wilson, of course, came out, and William Regal gave Tori a Regal bomb, and that entire aftermath took like 5 minutes, so I guess they just wanted to kill time with that. But yeah, short match, but I felt like what they did in that time span was good. From there, we go to the Unification match for the Intercontinental Championship and the WCW United States Championship, Test versus Edge. This match started off slow, you had some rest holds. That Test was putting Edge in. Test was very dominant early on, and then of course eventually Edge was able to finally cut him off of his momentum with a nice drop kick. And after that drop kick, when Edge finally got his comeback, I thought the match got very fun. I think if the beginning of the match was a lot better, because I feel like the beginning of it was very boring, this could have been a great match had the first half not been what it was. But the second half was very fun. You had a lot of near falls, a lot of great back and forth action. Test actually hit a spear on Edge, followed by a pump handle slam for a nice near fall there, and then of course Edge hit a spear on Test for a very nice near fall as well. So there's some great drama in this match in terms of the near falls, and I just feel like this match progressed to very fun stuff. Great back and forth action. Test looked really good. Test is one of those guys that I watch in the late 90s, early 2000s, and it's kind of like I wonder what if what could have been with him had they actually pushed him properly. But yeah, again, I thought Test had a great performance, and Edge looked good here. Edge gets a surprise victory. Test going for the pump handle slam. Edge is able to cradle into a roll up for the 1-2-3. So Edge becomes your Intercontinental Champion and WCW United States Champion. So yeah, like I said, really good match there. Just wish the beginning wasn't what it was, because that way that match I think could have been a great match had the beginning been better. But I'm not going to take away from it. It's still a very fun match. From there, I'm going to go to a steel cage unification match for the WWF Tag Team Championship and the WCW Tag Team Championship. The Dudley Boyz versus the Hardy Boys. This was great. I thought both teams had a great showing here. And of course, the beginning was kind of slow because they were treating it like a traditional tag team match where the guys were actually behind the ropes waiting for the tag, which I thought was just stupid. I hate when they do that for these type of matches. Anytime a tag team match like this, especially in a steel cage, should always be tornado rules. And of course, after about 5 minutes or so, it did turn into a tornado match. We're all 4 guys in the ring at the same time. There was just an all-out fight here. I thought it was awesome. You know, the Dudley Boyz were very dominant in this match. They were just tossing the Hardys around and actually teased the 3D. But instead of hitting the 3D, they actually threw, I believe, Matt Hardy into the cage. So they utilized the cage pretty well against the Hardys, the Dudleys did. And of course, you know, eventually the Hardys outsmarted the Dudleys and, you know, started, you know, their tactics, was able to counter some stuff, was able to hit their signature leg drops and stuff like that. So the Hardys had a nice comeback, and I thought this was just a hell of a fight. You know, both teams were just, you know, trying to kill each other and just trying to beat the other team down so they can climb out and win this match. So the climb in this match was very suspenseful for the Hardys. You know, the Hardys had a lot of not near falls, but near escapes in this match, which I thought was really good for the suspense of it. But Tori Wilson gets involved. You know, she's at ringside. She flashes her ass to the referee. The referee just looks out. So Tori Wilson is able to unlock the door, throw a table in the ring. Dudley Boyz try to utilize it, but the Hardys fight out of it. Matt Hardy is able to escape, but Jeff Hardy, being the dumb motherfucker that he was, climbs the cage. Matt's just yelling at him to get down. Jeff goes, but there's an opportunity because one of the Dudley Boyz are on the table. Jeff goes for the swanton through the table. Of course, Bubba gets out of the way, so Jeff just crashes the table, and the Dudleys cover him for the 1, 2, 3. So the Dudley Boyz won this match, becoming Unified Tag Team Champions. Matt Hardy is pissed because, you know, the stipulation was both members had to get out of the cage, where Matt Hardy was out, but just needed 1 pinfall. So both men needed to leave the cage or one pinfall, and the Dudley Boyz won with 1 pinfall. So Jeff Hardy just looked dumb as shit for not getting out of the cage, but it made for a great spot, I guess. But yeah, Dudley Boyz win in a very fun cage match. From there we go to the Immunity Battle Royal. Of course, they had a mixture of the Alliance guys and WWF guys. Pretty much whoever won this match was, you know, for sure in a job for the next year, so they couldn't be fired no matter which company they were working for and which company ended up winning. Tess won this match. Scotty 2 Hotty was originally supposed to be in it, but Tess actually attacked him backstage in a segment, took a spot. Taz was a nice surprise this match as well. This battle royal is pretty fun, actually. You know, you'd think these type of battle royals would suck, but it was actually entertaining. It was about 15 minutes too, so this battle royal actually kind of flew by. And Bradshaw, I thought, was the MVP of this match. I thought he looked the best. But the ending came down to Tess and Billy Gunn, and Tess ended up throwing out Billy Gunn to win it. So Tess is immune to, has his job for at least another year, depending on who won the main event, regardless. So Tess won it, fun battle royal, I enjoyed that. And then from there, we go to the 6-pack challenge for the vacant WWF Women's Championship. Trish Stratus versus Lita versus Jacqueline versus Ivory versus Mighty Molly versus the debuting Jazz. This match is just whatever, a lot of botches and a lot of fuck-ups. I didn't really enjoy this. Then even the ending was fucked up. You know, Trish fucked up Stratisfaction from the backdrop from Ivory, so they had to redo it, and Trish ends up hitting Stratisfaction for the 1, 2, 3. So this is actually Trish's first title win, so this match is pretty historic, I guess, considering it's Jazz's debut and Trish's first title win. So I guess that's the reason worth watching this match. But besides that, the match quality itself is not very good, so whatever. And then we go to the main event, which was, of course, the Team WWF versus the Alliance 5-on-5 traditional Survivor Series elimination match. Of course, Team WWF being represented by The Rock, The Undertaker, Kane, Chris Jericho, and Big Show, taking on the Alliance of Stone Cold Steve Austin, Kurt Angle, Booker T, Shane McMahon, RVD. Sorry, my mind was going blank there for a second. Of course, the big story of this match was, of course, who's going to win and if Stone Cold Steve Austin was going to turn on the Alliance or not, because the big story going to it was questioning if Stone Cold was going to turn on them and go back to the WWF, but Stone Cold kept ensuring them that he wasn't going to turn. Match itself is absolutely awesome. It's a long match, but honestly, it flies by. I thought, you know, they cut the suspense great. You know, this 10-man tag, I don't want to say it's not nearly as good as it, but if I had to compare it to a match, kind of like in terms of like keeping interest, it kind of reminded me of the 10-man tag from Canadian Stampede. Now, this match is not as amazing as that match was, but I would say the interest is there, where there was an adult moment in this match, and it kept your interest throughout the entire match. So that's probably the best way I can put it. But yeah, it's very fun. You know, Shane McMahon was great in the beginning, making sure no one got pinned by breaking up every pinfall possible. So Shane McMahon was an early entertainment, or early best part about this match when he was in it. But just the storytelling, you know, the frequent tags, you didn't really have like one guy in there for a long time period. You had a lot of great frequent frequent tags, and just, you know, you had different matchups going on. So I thought this was just an awesome elimination match. Definitely one of my favorites. You know, it's a classic main event here and definitely historic, one of the most historic matches in WWF history, considering it's WWF versus the Alliance, and just, you know, the match itself is just absolutely awesome. Eliminations occur. You know, Big Show's the first to go when Angle hit an Angle Slam, followed by a scissors kick by Booker T, followed by a Frog Splash from RVD, followed by the Leap of Fate from Shane McMahon. So Shane McMahon pins the Big Show to eliminate him. As Shane McMahon celebrating, the Undertaker comes in. Undertaker or Kane. I think Kane comes in, choke slams him, Undertaker comes in, tombstones him, and then Jericho hits him with the Lion Salt to eliminate Shane McMahon right away after that. So Shane's gone. Then after that, Kane got eliminated by RVD after RVD hit a flying thrust kick to the face. So Kane got eliminated after that. Undertaker was next eliminated after Stone Cold Steve Austin hit him with a Stone Cold Stunner, and then Kurt Angle was able to cover him for the 1-2-3. So Undertaker is now eliminated. It is now a 4-on-2 advantage for the Alliance. And then Booker T was eliminated next after Rock was able to lock in a roll-up to secure elimination for Booker T. And then RVD was next eliminated by Chris Jericho after a breakdown. So RVD is now eliminated. So it's now 2-on-2. And then Kurt Angle was eliminated by The Rock by a sharpshooter. Yes, The Rock's horrible sharpshooter, which actually looked decent. That actually looked really good, actually. It's probably The Rock's best sharpshooter ever. Locked in on Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle taps out. So goes down to 2-on-1. Advantage for the WWF. And then Chris Jericho gets eliminated by Stone Cold Steve Austin after a small package. After that, Jericho's pissed. Hits a breakdown on The Rock. So Chris Jericho turns on Team WWF. Austin goes to the cover. Rock kicks out at 2. Chris Jericho tries to go back in the ring, but then here comes running down, tells his ass get to the back to ensure this match stays 1-on-1. So it is The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin as your final two. These two, classic Rock and Austin, is going at it all-out brawl from these two for about 10 minutes, brawling to the outside, going to the announce table, brawling there. Nice chops from both men. Austin's bleeding from the mouth because he's busted open. Just, you know, 10 minutes of just a Rock and Austin match, which was great. Just them going at it, beating the holy hell out of each other. And then, you know, he has some fuckery finish. You know, the referee gets knocked down several times. Stone Cold, you know, hits the ref. So you have Earl Hebner as a referee, and I think Tim White comes down, takes out Hebner, and Austin takes out Tim White, and then Earl Hebner gets back in the match. It's kind of all messed up with the referees. Austin's, you know, trying to secure the victory. Brings the title belt in. The referee's down. Kurt Angle comes running down, grabs the belt, and looks like he's going to hit The Rock, but ends up hitting Stone Cold Steve Austin. So Kurt Angle, the entire question of this match was if Stone Cold's going to turn on the Alliance, but ends up being Kurt Angle of all people. So Kurt Angle turns on the Alliance. Rock was able to hit a rock bottom after Kurt Angle hit Stone Cold with the title belt. And then 1, 2, 3, the WWF defeats the Alliance, and The Rock defeats Stone Cold Steve Austin. Just a hellacious main event. Very, very fun and entertaining. It's an awesome match. A lot of freaking tags. A lot of great moments in this match. And very you know, back and forth. There wasn't really one time where we thought, you know, for sure one team's going to win. It was very like, okay, the Alliance is going to win. They have the advantage. And it came to Team WWF. And then it came on The Rock and Austin. And The Rock's never really beat Austin before at this point. So it's kind of like, okay, is Rock finally going to beat Austin? Just a lot of fun in this main event. Of course, Vince comes out at the end, you know, holding both arms up, you know, pretty much showcasing that, you know, he won. So just a very fun main event to a very fun show. Like I said, I very much enjoyed Survivor Series 2001. The main event, of course, is the main reason to watch the show, but everything else is pretty fun. You know, the two Unification matches are very good. And the rest of the card, you know, it's not great, but it's good. You know, it's still good, and it's a very fun Survivor Series, so I definitely recommend checking it out if you have the opportunity to do it on the WWE Network, or if you have the DVD of it. So yeah, that'll do it for the video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys did, please leave a like below. If you've seen the Survivor Series 2001, please go ahead and feel free to leave a comment for the show in the comments below. And as always, I'll see you guys in my next video. Thank you guys for watching the video.